Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey y'all, this is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Puncher.
Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
No Dave.
He's going back to the Hollow Earth.
Back to the Hollow Earth. You know, I don't know if Dave would want me to bring this up, but I'm going to. But Dave's under the weather. He said that he thinks he had an allergic reaction to some mold. Mold that was on a bagel, and he was compelled to sniff it. He said, don't ask me why, but I had to smell it, and he feels like that kind of made him sick.
He smelt the mold?
I feel like if your bagel has enough mold that you're like, you know.
Would you just throw it away?
Right.
You should just throw it away. So everybody, don't be like Dave.
Well, hold on here, because usually mold is basically penicillin. So mold is actually pretty good for you. It's how they grow, how they create penicillin comes from mold.
Right.
Unless you're reptilian.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay.
Don't sniff moldy bagels.
No.
Just in case you would have an allergic reaction to it.
That's right.
Hey, Dave. Hope you're getting better.
Yeah.
Like he listens. All right. On this episode, we're going to talk about the Banshee Labyrinth, a very haunted pub in Scotland.
Yep.
And we're also going to tell you all about our upcoming event at the Philadelphia Fan Expo. Mm-hmm. Woo! So let's jump right into the bar.
Right.
One thing we're all really good at.
Now, the Banshee Labyrinth, they say that it is Scotland's most haunted pub. But I want to talk about Edinburgh first.
You know how many times I spelled that wrong
Edinburgh?
typing in Edinburgh?
Yeah,
Oh,
Edinburgh.
that was terrible. Thank you, spell check.
Were you doing like Edinburgh?
Yes, I was doing Edinburgh.
Now, there is an Edinburgh, PA. It's up near Erie. Anyway. So this is from the Edinburgh News. Edinburgh has the twin distinction of being one of Europe's most haunted cities, whilst having more pubs per square kilometer than anywhere else in Scotland. It's a marriage made in hell.
Well, every pub though. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I was thinking about moving if it has that many pubs per square inch.
I know.
per square inch.
Well, square kilometer.
Wow.
Now, where the pub is located, it's right near the Royal Mile, which is a succession of streets that runs between Edinburgh Castle and Holyrood Palace.
Why would they have the Royal Mile and not like the Royal Kilometer?
No, that's a good point.
That is a good question.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Interesting. I didn't even think about it. That's the name of it, Royal Mile. So now the Royal Mile consists of pubs, shops, and is the busiest tourist street on that side of Edinburgh. I think on the newer side of Edinburgh, there's a street that's super popular at that point too. But anyway, now under the streets, there are also some underground vaults, also known as the Southbridge Vaults, which were completed in 1788. Now, do you have some stuff about the vaults?
Yeah, I have that. They were built in 1785, but all right.
Oh, okay.
But there's like 19 arches that they built these arches to have this, I guess, the South Bridge. And I can't remember how many levels it actually is, but there's like 120 vaults, rooms that are down here. And people would use it for like saloons.
Okay.
But also living space. And then, eventually, it got, pretty bad. A lot of poverty down there, prostitution. And of course, you have violence. And then you get serial killers.
This sounds like the Narrows in Gotham. It's kind of underneath the streets where there's some pubs, and that's where you go do the
Right.
deals, and the crime happens, and all the yeah.
Well, so one of the most famous serial killers, two brothers, was William Burke and William Hare, Burke and Hare. So they murdered like 16 people, and they would stash the bodies in the vaults, and at night they'd get them and take them up and sell them to this Dr. Knox, because it wasn't easy to come by bodies for these universities,
Right.
to study
For their
and use
medical
for lectures.
schools.
Yeah, for the medical schools. So Burke and Hare obviously devised a business plan that involved murdering people, stashing them in the vaults, and then taking their bodies up at night. And they say, well, it was mostly women, but they killed about 16 people
Jeez.
before they were captured. And they even have a little rhyme about it. Here it goes. Up the close and doon the stair. Button Ben, we Burke and Hare. Burke's the butcher, Hare's the thief.
Oh.
Knocks the boy that buys the beef.
Oh, God. Wow.
So were they selling whole bodies, or
Well,
he said
it
he's
was-
the butcher? So is he cutting them up?
Well, the Dr. Knox would cut him up for the university for lectures he did and the
Yeah.
teaching. I think just it rhymed. So
Yeah.
knocks the
Right.
boy who buys the beef.
Yeah, they would sell the bodies for like anatomical studies, because it was actually, Edinburgh was like a popular
Right.
place for a lot of these science things.
Yeah, I think it was
For the science things?
Yes.
science things.
Big science things in Edinburgh.
Yes.
Yeah, it was I guess they could get bodies like from people that died in prison, things like that. There was a
Right.
couple of legal ways for these universities to get it, and so obviously bodies were in limited supply, so people were grave robbing, and then of course Burke and Hare decided to go right for murder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now it got pretty bleak down there with the living conditions and everything, and eventually they decided to fill it up with rubble to discourage people. Get out of here. You can't live here anymore.
Right.
And then in the 80s, the Scottish rugby person, Norrie Rowan, he's credited for finding the vaults. And I guess they renovated some of the vault sections. In fact, Ghost Adventures, Season 1, Episode 7, they went and did an investigation in the vaults.
So a rugby player was just wandering around?
Well, he's a former rugby player. He's a businessman now.
Ah.
Oh, I thought he was just wandering around looking for a game to play or something.
So, well, maybe that's how
Had
it all
the
went down.
high shorts and the socks.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, many people experience like a strong sense of like there's something else down there.
Right.
They've seen apparitions, heard footsteps, heard crying children and whimpering, because a lot of death happened down there. The mortality rate was like immense when the vaults were actually open.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so this gives you an idea of the town of Edinburgh. Well, it's not a town.
Well,
it's a
not
city.
really the
Yeah, it's
good,
not a
good
town.
picture of Edinburgh.
No,
It's
but
much nicer there.
it's giving you an idea of like the haunted history, I
Right.
think, behind it. Now, many of the entrances of the vaults are sealed, but each pub that is situated above the vaults has a passageway into the vaults. And it is theorized that's why the hauntings, they've leaked into the pubs. Now, the Banshee Labyrinth, it had another name. It was called the Nicol Edwards Pub first.
The Nickelback pub.
No, Nicol Edwards.
I would
my
change the name
gosh.
too.
Nicol Edwards Pub. And there's a reason the name changed. We'll get to that. But so who was Nicol Edwards? Lord Nicol Edwards was one of the richest men in Edinburgh, and his home happened to be at this location.
Like right next door, right?
I think it was right next door, but
Yeah.
so he was a staunch believer in witchcraft and was the Lord Provost during the reign of King James VI. Just to, I don't know, give you some history.
And that's all.
Yeah,
Just little
that
tidbit.
was it. Now, he was actually a rather horrid man. He abused his wife horribly and supposedly banished her to a deserted island where she died because she shouted at him in the streets from a window. I don't know how true this is, but
Wow, you can do that.
Wow.
I know.
That's pretty.
yeah, he banished her.
Huh.
Just for yelling at him, huh?
Yeah, she yelled at him. He didn't like it.
I got to take this up with my wife.
Yeah. I found a site where they actually called him a bampot, which is a term used over there to refer to a foolish, unpleasant, or obnoxious person. A bampot. Bampot. Yes.
Bam.
Bampot.
Bampot.
Yeah, bampot.
Another word for a-hole.
Right. Now, he had a basement dungeon beneath his house that he used to torture suspected witches before their trial.
Who doesn't?
Yep. A legend has it that he buried his wealth in the beer cellars under his house. And as the centuries passed, the street he lived on was built over and incorporated into the vaults.
I like the idea that he has beer cellars.
Right?
Right?
I think I need one of those.
Well, the pub is said to be situated above the remains of his house. And the owners of the pub, when it was called the Nicol Edwards Pub, they were excavating the vaults in the hope of uncovering the loot. Mm-hmm. Now, so the Banshee Labyrinth is a pub made up of 7 rooms. Excuse me. 7.
Whoa, what happened?
I know. I'm sorry. 7 rooms. Has 3 bars, an underground dance floor, and about half the pub's built into the underground vaults. There's a 50-seat cinema, which is free. And it shows anything from horror to comedy to geek movies. And then throughout the week, they have different music and bands. So one night it might be indie music, and then it might be metal the next. So it's a pretty unique, cool place.
This sounds like a pretty awesome place to go.
Yeah.
And stay.
And okay,
What else do I need? We got some pubs, music, and a cinema.
that's true. That's true. And looking at Edinburgh, I mean, there's a pub like literally every 5 houses on every corner of every block. There's a pub right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Yep. I think, Scotland is just a really fun place to explore.
Yeah, I did an overview, like an overhead view of the area, and was like, oh my gosh, there's a pub literally every block on every side, and throughout, it must have been like a 5-mile radius. There was only one Starbucks.
Oh, wow.
But there was probably like 20 pubs,
Right.
and I was just like, all right, now we're getting it right.
Now
Here we go.
talking. All right. So as far as hauntings go, and I will get into why the pub changed its name. It's said that whoever met their
What? Who melted what?
No, met. I can't read. Their untimely end here in the vaults may be trapped to haunt the area. Okay. So the reason for the name change: when the pub was renovating one of the vaults for the storage space, one of the workers saw a woman with long red hair wearing a long, old-fashioned gray dress covering her face as she sobbed. He asked who she was, how she got in there, and how he could help her. He received no response from her, except crying, more crying. She then removed her hands and revealed a pale, gaunt face with cracked and rotting teeth and empty eye sockets. It was at this point that she shrieked a horrible howl, which caused the worker to pass out in terror. And then when he came to, she was gone. It was when he went home that night, he received a phone call that a family member had died.
Right.
So
he felt that he had encountered a banshee.
Right. So a banshee, if you hear the banshee scream,
Right.
somebody in your family is going to die. But if you see and the banshee screams at you,
Then you're gonna
then
die.
you're going to die. Is what I found.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to get confused all the time with sirens, and it was like leading somebody to their death. But the banshee, you're right, is more like just a harbinger. They're the messenger saying something
Right.
bad is somebody's going to die, whether it's you or somebody else who's close to you. Right.
Yeah. So I'm.
Oh, but also I think I would just change the name because that Nickel guy.
I know he
was a horrible person.
I know he's a a-hole.
Yeah, and I had found that he was abused the crap out of his wife. Was just a horrible human being.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the people that he thought was witches that he was torturing.
Right.
I would definitely change the name and disassociate right away.
Oh, yeah.
from that bampot.
Yeah, so they changed it to Banshee Labyrinth, and I'm assuming the labyrinth part is because it was
The vaults.
and everything.
Yeah.
So now the Banshee hasn't screamed since. Okay, she only screamed that one time. But some have heard singing down in the tunnels,
Okay.
or they've had objects hurled at them in the vaults while they're taking a tour. Many have placed their drink down and watched it slide straight off the table or smash against a wall as if something threw it.
I've got a question on banshees. Another question on banshees.
Okay.
I was going through this. I was thinking to myself, are banshees bad?
Well,
And I was like, well, I guess if they point at you and screech, I always not more than half. I was coming up with really that they're not. They're more of just kind of foretelling of what's going to happen.
right.
Almost, alerting somebody to it. Because if a banshee screams at you, then and like doesn't gesture or point to you or whatever, that you got to be ready because there could be somebody's going to be dying in your family. They didn't go and kill that person,
True.
but they just didn't have cell phones back in the day, so they relied on paranormal forces to relay that message quickly.
Is that your theory?
That's my theory. That's my going theory.
I like it.
I'm sure
Silence right after that.
I'm sure we can find some research to debunk that, but
Now, there have been creepy, like disembodied sounds that can be heard in the corridors in the middle of the night. There is the Watcher that some have seen, and not just at this pub. He's been seen in several in that area, so he doesn't stick to one place. He is a shadowy man in a long black coat with a tricorn hat and large boots.
kind of like the Hat Man.
Yep.
Okay, so he's not. Keep going with some of the other
Sure.
ones.
Those that see him say that he has no facial features at all.
And he just kind of hangs out.
Yeah, well, I'm
just-
assuming he's watching you.
That's
Is that why he's called the
yeah,
Watcher?
Yeah. He's just kind of off in the corner there.
Right.
But that's not the other guy that we mentioned earlier, right?
No.
That's somebody else.
Yeah.
Mentioned earlier off the air.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
When you are alone in the pub, sometimes you get the feeling that it's not the case. You're definitely, there's other people there, but you can't see them. Sorry, I lost my place.
It's okay. We're hanging in there with you.
I know.
Who's the guy? One of them is a guy who can be found in the women's bathrooms.
Yes.
So we have perverts?
Yeah.
Pervert ghosts.
And so this is what we were kind of like talking very lightly about before we started, was that why is there always a ghost that's a perv?
I know.
There's always pervy ghosts, and
Maybe they're bored. I don't know.
but why would you? I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I just would think it would be odd. There's a lot of things you can go do and see and
Right.
whatnot instead of hanging out in women's bathrooms.
I know. Yeah, his name is Old Jock.
Old Jock.
Yeah, Old Jock.
Gotcha.
Old
Yeah.
Jock.
Yeah.
Hanging out. So if you go to the restroom and you hear somebody, it's Old Jock.
Yeah, he likes to slam doors and turn the hand dryers on and off.
Well, they're fancy.
What a
Right.
bomb pot.
Yep. I guess you can hear like dragging feet in there as well. And then some have even felt his breath on the back of their necks, which is
That seems nice.
yeah, well,
Not
not
really.
nice.
Not really.
No.
Wasn't there one with a little girl? Wasn't there a little girl walking around too?
Yes, the main bar area is said to be haunted by a 6-year-old girl that they named Molly. She's been seen by the staff and public that, just walking around the bar. She disappeared in 1841 or 1814. I saw both dates somewhere, so I think somebody switched a number.
Could be a typo somewhere.
Yeah. But anyway, there's an old chimney there that is said to be her burial site. And they think this because it was being bricked over when a child's shoe with the name Molly written on it fell out. So, yeah. So that's why, they named her Molly, I think, because of that. But Yeah.
Now I know that some of them, like the Watcher guy. Now I don't know about Pervy Ghost or Molly, but you've been seen in the other locations around.
Yes.
In the Hat Man guy has been seen in other pubs and whatnot.
Yes, he has.
So I'm always curious to see like if Molly and any of the ghosts are specific to that location or if they're specific to the vaults.
Well, that's just it. I feel like the vaults
Or a bit
allow
of
them
both.
to,
You know?
like they can go to different spots because the vaults are underneath, and that's their burial ground, I guess. But
yeah, I was just thinking that was just like, I guess that's a kind of like I guess if you're a ghost in the area and you're stuck in that pub or you're stuck in the area, that might be actually a pretty cool thing because you could go to any number of 6, maybe 8, 10 different pubs and go hang out. If you're.
You think the ghosts are still doing the Royal Mile?
Yeah, they're still doing it. They're having a good time.
Okay.
Right.
You know, I think they're definitely locked there. I can just imagine the amount of witchcraft and if there were witches who were tortured and killed, real witches that were killed instead of just not specific ones, suspected ones. You know,
yeah, they're going to go to trial, so they, of course, were torturing them to get a
Right.
confession or whatever. But yeah, apparently there was a coven of witches that sealed a demonic force in a stone circle that is right above a section of the underground pool rooms. And they say you can enter it, but you have to leave the same way or you risk getting hurt. I only found this in one place, and I couldn't get
I didn't
more
hear
details.
that at all.
So they sealed a demon in a
Yes.
stone.
Yeah.
Just like
A stone circle.
Oh, stone circle. Because
Yeah.
like in our Facebook group, Travis dropped a story about a mysterious Japanese killing stone said to
Yeah.
contain a demon that cracked open.
Right.
I'm like, I think maybe sealing something
Yeah.
in something that could crack open is a bad idea.
Right.
Is it you have to like go now? When you said the underground pool room,
Yeah.
is this for shooting pool or
Yeah, I'm
is this
assuming
for,
it's
or for
to
going for a swim?
No, I'm assuming it's like shooting pool, but yeah, the circle you can actually go into it, but you have to leave the same way.
That you went in.
Yes,
Is there multiple ways to get out of the circle?
I am assuming. Well, it's like Stonehenge.
Okay, I was thinking
Yeah.
more. I was thinking more like a fire pit.
Oh no,
I was like,
no,
this is a really big like bunch of rocks laying in a circle kind of a thing.
no.
Don't start a fire.
Right.
We don't need anything else bad happening.
Oh my gosh, I did not come across that. That's
I know.
fantastic.
I only found it in one spot. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, I wish I could have found more on that because fascinating, really.
The thing that I kind of really liked is when you're down in the caves, there's a phenomenon that happens. So it's called I'm going to butcher this, pareidolia. Pareidolia.
Yeah,
Okay.
And that's,
I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Where because it's dark and it shuts down one of your senses, that your other senses become stronger.
Right, right.
And I was just wondering, well, what if if that does happen? Like when you go to sleep, you can always hear more. You know, you can always, I was just wondering if there's something else down there, kind of fueling that expansion. Maybe because of all of these, the witchcraft and the different, negative energy that's down there, and the different energies and I guess, I don't know, spells, or I don't know what's down there, kind of enhancing you when they go down there and you can't see. So you just become like a ghost radar kind of a thing.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Now, when I was in Edinburgh, we talked about going into the vaults and doing a tour. And I don't know if somebody was scared or whatever, but we ended up not going down there. So I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get to see that. But
I think pareidolia is when you visually kind of like see something.
Yeah.
Or like you can make a face out in a photo, or
Is it
maybe
Right.
something in the corner you're starting to see.
So it's not that
You'll
it's
make
not,
out of shape.
It's not like your senses get more enhanced. It's just that you can't see. So if something comes, you can see it better. Is that you can is it your brain putting images together?
I think so. Well, I'm no scientist. But I think it's when it happens often when you're looking at photos and you're like, oh, it looks like there's a ghost here, because you start to kind of see what you
okay.
want to see. You want to
Right.
see like this thing here in the back, and you start to see a face in it.
Like if you have if you texture some drywall. It happens a lot with texture on drywall too.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like that.
Just like
Yeah.
that. I like the fact that there is such a predominance towards witches and to stopping
Yeah,
witchcraft
yeah.
that they did the Scottish Witchcraft Act of 1563.
Wow.
That they actually put it into law and then repealed it in 1735.
Oh.
So there has to be some serious stuff going on in the area.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. There are witches everywhere out there. Witches in pubs.
Oh, boy.
It's party
There's a
time.
lot of pubs, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, many of Edinburgh's ghost walks end by entering the Banshee Labyrinth from the vaults with a token for a free drink, which I like that
Yeah,
too.
heck yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't pull up their drink menu. We should have pulled up their drink menu to see if there's anything special in their drink menu. Where's Fact Check Dave?
I know.
Golly.
You know, they don't really have that great of a website. I don't even think it's mobile friendly.
Is it just like a Facebook post and you go to their Facebook site or something like that?
No,
No, they have a website.
Yeah, they have a website, but it's hard to get around in it.
It's not the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't have drink specials listed here. Maybe they do on Facebook. If you're interested, go check it out. Nope, the link from their website to their Facebook is broken. So, Banshee Labyrinth, give me a shout. I'll fix you up.
Wow. Well, I would love to go there.
I know.
I think that this would be an awesome place to go check out, go have a drink, have something to eat, and then literally stagger maybe 20 feet and go into another pub
Right.
and then rinse and repeat and just keep going and going and going.
Yeah, the photos they have on their site are cool. I mean, this place
Yeah.
is cool.
Yes, it is.
I definitely want to visit. So we'll put it on our list of hopefully someday we get to do something.
Someday trip.
Someday trip.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we're back. All right. Another haunted pub.
Yep.
Man, there's a lot of pubs that are haunted.
Yeah.
We've talked about a whole bunch of them.
I know.
In the past 134 episodes that we've done, which finally has culminated in us doing a live
Yep.
performance. We've been invited to Fan Expo in Philadelphia. The fun starts at Friday, 6:30. That's when we go on. It actually starts at 4 o'clock, but our performance is at 6:30.
But it doesn't get good until 6:30.
Right.
And then there's a steep drop off at about 7:15. Is that what it is? Or when our show ends?
When our show ends, yep. Fan Expo is a pop culture Comic-Con kind of thing. It used to be called Wizard World, but now they changed it to Fan Expo. But, you know, you got a big chunk of the Star Trek Next Generation cast will be there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm personally excited that Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, Jay and Silent Bob, will be there. Hoping to meet those guys, hoping to get an interview with them. But yeah, we're going to do a live show. We have not figured out the topic yet.
No.
And this is happening April 8th.
It's coming up.
So we got like 3 weeks to get our acting gear or bomb in front of
oh, boy.
an audience.
So either way, you're going to get some entertainment.
That's right. Be us tap dancing up there or at least
Right.
talking about a subject. One of the two.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be a little nervous, but once we find our groove, it should be a good show. And we'll have audio and video that we're going to share with you when we return. So you'll get to see it if you can't make it. But if you can make it, we want to have a little get-together at a pub, not a haunted pub.
Right.
Just a pub.
Yeah, just a pub.
After the show to have a drink and just meet and greet. And if we don't meet anybody, we're still going to the pub.
We'll be there.
But we would love to. We'd
Right.
love to have a beer with you, shoot the fat, and meet you face to face.
Yeah, this is Alicia and I have been going to this for years.
Yeah.
Not for the past 2 years. I'm sure you can guess why.
Right.
But it's back, and we're going to go, and I'm really excited. You know, 5 or 6 years ago, we got, or maybe longer.
I know.
We
Time
got to see
flies.
Stan Lee
Yeah.
on a Friday night.
yeah.
Now, I'm sure Stan Lee's Friday night show is just always going to be better.
It was fresh.
than what we're going to do. Because when I watched him, I was so entertained. The guy was amazing. Guy was funny. R.I.P. Stan. But I can only hope that we're just a little bit as good as
just a sliver.
his performance.
Yeah, yeah. Just a little bit. That'll be
Just
good with
a little
that.
bit. And, speaking of comics, I can't believe you didn't try to plug an X-Men Banshee reference when we were talking about
the
that.
lamest X-Men around.
Yeah,
Oh my
it
gosh.
sure is.
It's just rough.
I'm still shocked. He didn't,
Yeah.
So please join us April 8th through the 10th. We'll be there hanging out all 3 days, only doing a show one night. The rest, we're going to be running around, geeking out, buying comics, having a good time.
Yep.
So,
Hey, speaking of comics, don't we have a new comic?
yes, we do. It is called Bigfoot Ridge. It'll soon be available to buy. Just, get in the store set up, things like that. And I want to have it ready before we hit the Fan Expo. So you'll be able to buy it no matter where you live. It's 30 pages, black and white, because I love the way black and white looks. It is a what if story. So it is based on true events. Slightly. It's based off of what would happen if we got a letter from a listener inviting us to a cabin in the woods, which I really did get a letter. And since I watched too many horror movies, I took that aspect and was like, well, what if we really went? And things didn't work out the way
Right.
we were hoping. So, yeah, the comic's about us going to make a documentary on a listener's Bigfoot sighting.
Yeah.
And things go...
A little haywire.
Yeah, a little haywire.
Yeah.
There's some twists in it. We're really in it. We just used, except for Dave.
I know. Dave's not there.
Dave's not in it. It's just me, Lish, and Nash. Again, it's a what if story. When I wrote it, is when Dave was missing a bunch of episodes because he was so wicked busy. So I thought it'd be funny to just not have him in the book. But don't worry, because we're also recording an audio version, so an audio drama, and Dave is in the audio drama.
Yes.
And if all goes well, I'm going to just turn it into a movie. So I'll be just like Marvel. Take a comic book.
That's exactly
and turn
right.
it in.
That's exactly right. We are going to be just like Marvel.
The Paranormal Punchers Entertainment company.
Oh, I can't wait to one of the big scene I get to do. The big scene there. I can't give away the story, any of the story of the comic book.
The big scene you get to do.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
one
no spoilers.
one type of scene that every actor's got, and they rarely get to do it.
Okay.
I get to do that scene.
Would that be the scene where you bought pizza at the gas station? That's not too much of a spoiler, but that's in there. That's a running gag that I think it was also going to pop up in Paranormal Punchers episode 2 of the comic book.
Where's
the
that?
more Scooby-Doo comic book.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, the book is done. It looks amazing. And it's going to be available soon. So I hope you check that out. Help support the show, and hopefully it if enough people like it, we'll make another one.
We'll keep on
Yeah.
going.
And we're also making a movie called The Quest for Karma. So we should start filming end of April, beginning of May.
When it gets warmer.
But I'm going to
Yes.
document that on a website so people can check it out, the behind the scenes, how the progress is going. It's just a short film. But those things still take a long time to make. But I do have a goal in mind because there's a film festival I want to submit it to.
So it's going to be the film, and then separately from that, it's going to be the documentary for shooting the film, like two things.
Yeah, make that behind the scenes stuff. That would, the kind of stuff you would find on a Blu-ray.
So which one of us gets to have the actor outrage? You know who I am. I'm not putting up with this. Slam down a beer, walk off, have a temper tantrum. Somebody's got to. Come on. I mean, we're stars. Come on. Someone's got to do it.
Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, your role's not big enough to be a diva.
I think
You're a driver of a car.
Maybe Dave. Can Dave be a diva?
Is that a direct question? 'Cause you know what? Yes, Dave can be a diva.
Okay. So here we go.
So that was something you'll be hearing about. Not paranormal. There's a small possible supernatural aspect of it, but it's more D&D nerdy, life lesson movie. So pretty excited about that. And if it goes well, then we'll be making Bigfoot Ridge the movie.
Yep.
I did want to reshoot. I told Dave the other day, I'm like, you know what? I'd love to remake Chompy. I'd love to make. I'd like to take that concept of a fish man who becomes best friends with a human, only to get killed by the human's girlfriend. I know it sounds stupid. It is pretty stupid.
But let's just take that idea. We'll pin that idea so the listeners can be like, what in the heck is he talking about?
Right? Come on, a fish man. Yeah, I think, you get it. Everybody wants to be best friends with a fish man.
With a fish man? I don't.
That has powers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And murdered a bunch of people. But that doesn't matter in the story because, on what happens.
How the whole thing plays out.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I might want to shelf that.
Now that you're saying it out loud.
Right.
All right. Hey, if you would like to learn more about everything we're up to, paranormalpunchers.com, send us a story. Go to the website. You'll find all the ways to contact us. We love hearing your paranormal experiences. We love hearing from you. Thank you for supporting us all these years, listening to the show, giving us the opportunity to do a live show. You've really helped get the podcast to a point where, people want to see us live. And it'll be the last time, I'm sure. Once they see the people behind the microphone, they might be like, uh-oh.
Unless we get people who come to the show and we go out afterwards and have a few beers, then that would be enough fuel to be like, you know what? We had a great time doing it. Listeners showed up. We had a few beers. It was an awesome time. Let's do it again.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. And we'll have the video, so if I never post a video, then it went bad. Thank you so much for supporting the show. This is a short episode. We cruised right through that. I guess without Dave.
I know.
Here, one less person talking actually streamlines the whole show.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back with more shenanigans. If it's not weird.
It's not worth checking out.